In today's video, I'm going to give you my top 10 homeschooling tips as a mom of 6. Welcome to my channel. I am Amber from the blog 1898mama.com, and I am a homeschooling, homesteading mom of 6. If you didn't catch my last video, it was kind of just a discussion about homeschooling for beginners. I'll link that video down below. So if you didn't catch that one, definitely check that out. But today I'm going to give you the top tips I would give somebody if they were coming to me and talking about wanting to homeschool. These tips are going to be in no particular order. One's not more important than the other. It's just kind of what I thought of for advice. Now, we have a cold running around, so if you hear my voice sounding a little funky, that's why, and that's also why he's with us, because he's a little crabby when it gets set down. Tip number 1 is to teach as many subjects as possible with everybody together. Currently we use Sunlight, but we do every once in a while like to do unit studies. And if you've never heard of like campfire curriculum, that kind of stuff, I really like their curriculum. They have family style learning. So for instance, I think we did like zoology or something the last time like that. And you kind of just follow along like it's a career and see like what a zoologist would do and stuff like that. It's really fun, and it's really a nice change of pace to a normal curriculum that you do. But basically they have preschool notebooks all the way up to like a senior in high school or an adult, and it just makes learning together as a family so much fun. Now obviously you can't do math or maybe like handwriting or language arts or that stuff. Every age you can't do together, but as much as you can, science, history, that kind of stuff, do together as a family. It'll save you time, and it just increases that bondness that you have as a family. Tip number 2 is to utilize audiobooks. Audiobooks are great for car rides, especially if you live far away from wherever you have to go, places like we do. We get a lot of book time in our car rides. Tip number 3 is if something is not working for you or your family or your child, ditch it, even if everybody else loves it. We tried Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. I have heard so many people rave about how awesome it is. Our family hated it, and that's okay. Every family is different. Tip number 4 is do not stress if the academic stuff gets pushed to the side for real life lessons. Things like character building or even chores and, just real life things like that. They can take priority over academic stuff, and this is going to be really hard for the type A people that like to check every box for every single day. Sometimes you can't get it all done, and that is okay if a lesson doesn't get done. Tip number 5 is to make enough so that you have leftovers for the next day. So when you go to make dinner, plan to make extra. That way, during lunch, during the middle of the day, you don't have to sit there and cook while trying to deal with all the children. Tip number 6 is to teach your children to be independent as soon as possible. That goes not this young, but toddlers start young. Teach them to put their shoes on by themselves. Teach them to get some water by themselves. Anything that you can do, teach them independence so that they can start doing things on their own. That way when it's time for schoolwork, things like math, they can just open the book and do by themselves, and it makes your days so much more simple. I have already forgotten what tip we are on, but my next tip is to avoid social media and phone use during school hours, if not even beyond that. It is such a distraction that it'll put you in a bad mood, it'll put your kids in a bad mood, and I promise you're not missing anything anyway. My next tip is to take time for each individual child every single day. Make sure that you're hugging every kid every day. Make sure that you're giving them interaction every day, just so that, obviously so they don't feel left out, so that they feel loved. Tip number 9 is to know that it is okay to mix and match curriculums or to even make your own thing. You do not have to follow every single curriculum step by step, every single box. You don't have to do everything. If something isn't working, find something that works just for you, just for your families, just for each individual kid. And my last tip number 10, is to remember that a day of just reading one book and surviving is full of education just in itself. I once heard that it is completely normal to feel like giving up homeschooling once a month. So this is a very tough job, but hopefully these tips will help you not feel like giving up at least once a month. Take a deep breath. Remember why you're doing what you're doing and know that it is all worth it in the end.